How's it going, everyone? This is Case Heel, and welcome back to another episode of Beta Quest. Space World 2000 was a very fascinating event for Nintendo, as it was when we were introduced to various tech demos that showed off the power of the GameCube. We got a Pokemon demo, a Metroid demo, this Luigi one with ghosts, and the infamous Zelda demo that hyped everyone up with its realistic characters and graphics, only to be distraught and highly critical at the sight of Wind Waker. However, amongst all these demos was Super Mario 128, an infamous demo that was behind so many rumors and mysteries related to what this game was and whether or not it will come out. If it was even a game in the first place, to which it was said to have been a revolutionary sequel to Super Mario 64. It's an insane story that is worth looking into, which is what we'll be doing. So, today on Beta Quest, it is time to talk about the insane story of Super Mario 128. To start off this crazy story, we need to understand what Super Mario 128 was exactly, and it's pretty insane and still a little confusing. Mario 128 was not only that demo shown off at Space World 2000, but it was also used as a name for a series of projects and experiments that were intended to be the true follow-up to Super Mario 64. The first of these projects was Super Mario 64 2, a failed attempt at a sequel on the N64 DD, the tragically unsuccessful Japan-only add-on to the N64, and is often given the name Super Mario 128, which comes from a 1997 issue of Nintendo Power that states that Mario 128 is a possible name for this project. However, while this game is a part of the Mario 128 saga, I will refer to this specific project as Mario 64 2 for clarity reasons. Mario 64 2 was intended to be a direct sequel that would feature ideas and cut content from Mario 64 due to time or hardware limitations, particularly Luigi, who was infamously removed from Mario 64 due to technical limitations on the multiplayer mechanics. However, Luigi's return was not only planned for multiplayer, but for a possible mechanic of controlling Mario and Luigi simultaneously, according to Miyamoto, although what this specifically meant is uncertain as of this video. If I had to speculate, I would guess that Mario 64 2's multi-character mechanic would have been similar to games like Pikmin 2 and 3 or Tak and the Great Juju Challenge, where you control multiple characters simultaneously to explore regions and solve puzzles, either together or separately. Yeah, that brings back memories, doesn't it? Tak and the Great Juju Challenge. Yeah. Anyway, it is also mentioned that Mario 64 2 was also to experiment with sphere walking mechanics as well, something Miyamoto really wanted to explore as it was a new thing in gaming. Sphere walking was even experimented with in Paper Mario and was almost included in Doshin the Giant before time restraints got in the way. Do people even know what Doshin the Giant is? I probably need to look into that someday. It was also hoped that Mario 64 2 would take full advantage of the N64 and N64 DD hardware capabilities. This was because the original game only used a fraction of the N64's hardware capabilities due to difficulties understanding the N64's hardware, as it was made in the USA and the manuals were written in English, which was tough for Japanese developers to understand at first. Such features would include advanced and intelligent enemies that can react to player choices, advanced lighting and special effects systems akin to that of Ocarina of Time, AirNet capabilities, reliable functions, and the larger storage spaces of the N64 DD discs. In 1997, we are told by Miyamoto in an interview that Mario 64 2 is in active development and a prototype of the game was present sitting on his desk, which comprised of a single demo level that featured Mario and Luigi plus the multiplayer components. It was hoped that the game would be completed within a quick year and a half, presumably by reusing assets from Mario 64, but Ocarina of Time took priority as it was to be the big holiday release of 1998. Time passes and the prototype has remained untouched since that interview. Absolutely no progress was made due to Miyamoto directing a slew of games at the time, and having a tendency of directing games by himself. He admitted that he could have had another team of developers work on it for him, and even suggested the possibility of pushing the game onto another system, a thing that was happening a lot with N64 DD games, due to the system's unpopularity with developers. However, following Ocarina of Time's completion, Miyamoto returns to the prototype with some new ideas, such as new 4-player multiplayer components via 4-way split screen, which will require a new camera system, with Peach and Toad believed to be returning as player characters, according to insider information. It was also stated that Mario 64 2 would be switched from the failed N64 DD to the GameCube, and would feature the return of Yoshi, who was planned to appear in Mario 64 as a traditional steed, but was ultimately reduced to a minor secret character in the final release. Spoilers if you didn't know about that. It is also said around 1999 that Miyamoto wanted to turn Mario into a more mature character, unhappy with the character being marketed as a kid's character due to advertisement campaigns at the time, and planned for Mario 64 2 to be a more mature game. Miyamoto even agreed to be interviewed in Japanese Playboy magazines, assuring the public that Mario 64 2 would be a mature game. So, what we have is that Mario 64 2 would be a highly ambitious GameCube sequel to the original Mario 64 that will make use of scrapped ideas and content from the original game, featuring a multi-character gameplay mechanic, 4-way multiplayer with the Mario Bros. 2 USA cast, Yoshi, sphere walking, rewritable mechanics, advanced enemies, Ocarina of Time style lighting and special effects, and it would all be more mature? Okay, I'm not sure about rewritable discs, but still, this seemed like it would have been an awesome game. Whatever happened to it? Tragically, it seemed that this project just disappears completely after 1999, and is never properly mentioned again, seemingly replaced with mentions and information based on the Space World 2000 demo. So now, we move to the proper Mario 128 portion of this crazy story, where we are shown this crazy demo of 128 Marios doing crazy stuff at Space World 2000, directed by Yoshiaki Koizumi. The demo in question showcased 128 Mario models moving around independently and interacting with the environment and other Mario models. The demo also showcased various techniques, such as the Mario models walking around a very bumpy terrain, as well as showcasing various filters. And all of this was being done with only 1/3 of the game's hardware powers, which is very impressive to say the least. Well, for the time, but still, pretty impressive. The end of the demo then showcases all the Mario models being knocked off the circular platform, which turned into a pizza. Cool. Alright, all this is nice, but what does this have to do with a sequel to Mario 64? Well, it turns out the demo spawned 2 projects intending to evolve the Mario series into a new direction. The first project being called the Mario 128 project, intending to be a true sequel to Mario 64, and the second being an evolution of the demo called the 100 Marios project. No known footage of either of these projects exists, although it is stated that these 2 games were highly experimental projects that played around with a huge multitude of concepts and ideas. Around this time, a third Mario project was also in development, handled by Yoshiaki Koizumi, which was later shown off in 2001 as Super Mario Sunshine, released in 2002. When questioned about it, Miyamoto stated that Mario 128 and Sunshine were separate games, which kickstarted a winding road of confusion as to what Mario 128 really was and when it was going to be shown. 2002 rolls around and we are not shown Super Mario 128, although we are told that development is still continuing, with Miyamoto stating that Mario 128 would feature a newness not present in Super Mario Sunshine, which he felt was just a revisitation of Mario 64. Which is an unusual statement, considering that it doesn't really seem like that, but okay. 2003 rolls around and yet again we get no showing, rumored to have been a result of Miyamoto not wanting ideas being stolen from the game. Despite this, we are reassured that development is still going on, and the game will be a massive and influential title that will push Mario into a new direction, with many amazing and unprecedented ideas and concepts present, although the game may not be a GameCube title anymore. Well, that sucks. I love the GameCube. How could you do this? Oh well. 2004 rolls around, and the game fails to appear yet again, despite Miyamoto stating that he wanted to show it. Around this time, Miyamoto also states that he was growing frustrated and unhappy with being the only director for Mario 128 and instead became a producer for other projects, while giving directorial duties to Koizumi, who joined the new EAD Tokyo office for Donkey Kong Jungle Beat sometime earlier. With Koizumi in charge, the EAD Tokyo team was experimenting with new mechanics in the 100 Marios project, particularly sphere walking mechanics, which impressed Miyamoto enough to begin development on a whole Mario game based on the sphere walking mechanics, titled Super Mario Galaxy. However, in 2005, we are told by former Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé that the game might appear in E3 2005 in the form of a video-only demo, but the game still failed to appear that year. But later in 2005, we are given some concrete info from Miyamoto as to what this project will be, in which he states that the game will be a revolutionary Wii title that will feature Mario with a new character by his side. He also said that Mario 128 was influential in the conception of the Wii, which is interesting. So, what is this game? 2006 rolls around and we are shown Super Mario Galaxy, the sphere-based game that evolved from the 100 Marios project. Is this the real Mario 128? Well, according to Nintendo, Galaxy is, in fact, not Mario 128. Darn it! Then, 2007 rolls in and tragedy strikes. After more than a decade of promised features, interviews, teases, and this weird stringing along with the game is still in development and the game might be shown next year, the game is officially declared no more. So, what happened? What is the truth of Mario 128? What happened to all of these projects and promised features and stuff? Well, in GDC 2007, Miyamoto brought up Mario 128 and shared the project's ultimate fate, where he states that the demo's gameplay mechanics turned into the gameplay of Pikmin, while level design concepts morphed into Mario Galaxy's levels. This makes sense, as Pikmin does require players to use a large multitude of characters to solve puzzles, and Galaxy was stated to have been based on the spear walking mechanics seen in the Mario 128 demo. Miyamoto also stated that Mario 128, the Space Roll 2000 demo, was just a demo meant to demonstrate the GameCube's powers. However, as we just discussed, Mario 128 was multiple prototypes and experiments, so what happened to all of them? What's going on here? From what it seems, the demo was just a demo, as Miyamoto stated, but that demo led to the various experiments that we've been hearing over the years. The 100 Marios project was the version of Mario 128 that was ultimately split into Pikmin and Mario Galaxy, as sort of referenced with the GDC talk and the Mario Galaxy related experiments, of course, with more obvious evidence for the Pikmin side being in the form of these unused Mario related models found within the Pikmin code. As for Mario 64 2, the seldom mentioned Mario 128 project, and those DS experiments, when asked about the Mario 64 2 project years later, Miyamoto stated that he forgot if the project was an N64DD title or not, but he does acknowledge that the sequel was broken up and turned into other gaming projects. While it's hard to say what this content specifically was, it is likely that this content made its way back into Mario 64 via the DS remake, as well as influenced game mechanics such as the two character mechanics influencing certain parts of Majora's Mask and the two character mechanics of Pikmin 2. Yoshi does make a return in Super Mario Sunshine, and the 4-player mechanics do appear in games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Super Mario 3D World, albeit in a modified form of only using one screen. and the outcome of the more mature direction is unclear, but perhaps this inspired the decision to remove the peace sign from Mario games for many years, as Miyamoto was not a fan of it, as well as explain the desire to make Luigi's Mansion fairly dark tone-wise, as well as the more story-driven nature of Super Mario Sunshine. And perhaps there are other things found in Miyamoto's projects that were inspired by Mario 64 too that we don't even notice, as Nintendo is one who loves to revitalize scratch ideas for future games. As for the Mario 128 project and the DS experiments, it's hard to say as to whatever happened to them, since very little talk was done about them, but it is clear that these projects ultimately ceased at one point. Although it is possible that these experiments and the Mario 128 project did influence other projects and might have evolved into something else completely, although I can't say for certain. But that was the confusing mystery of Super Mario 128. The whole thing was, and still is, a crazy, confusing, and winding road that lasted an entire decade, full of promised features, minimal interviews, and massive secrecy, ultimately leading to the project's grave in 2007. In a way, the conclusion was fairly anticlimactic and unfortunate, as we have been following the trail of this seemingly ambitious and massive, mature sequel to Super Mario 64, only for the game to be declared dead after many years. But perhaps it was a good thing that the game, or should I say games, were put to rest and used as an inspiration instead, as I doubt that such a sequel could ever live up to the hype it was building up over the years. Well, then again, it wouldn't hurt to just see what the game would have been like. I mean, sure, it might have been a little disappointing to some, but it still could have been a fun game. I kinda wish we got these prototypes in the Nintendo Giga Leak of 2020, just to get a peek into whatever these projects were, even if they were ugly or something. If anything, it makes me wish I worked at Nintendo at the time, at a high enough position to potentially work on Super Mario 128, which would have been cool. Then again, I would have been a toddler when Mario 128 was first shown off, so that probably would not have worked. Darn. Time to work on a time machine, I guess. Maybe an anti-aging serum on top of that. Well, anyway, this has been K-Steel with Beta Quest signing out. I'll see you all later. This was a Kobalt Steel video by MS Bernie. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Until next time, see you all later.